99% of goalkeepers will never make it pro, not because they're not talented, not because they're not working hard enough, but because they're missing this one thing that separates all the pros from everyone else. The good news, it's not genetics, luck, or some secret training method that only the pros know of. This is something you can start doing today. In this video, I'm breaking down the 3-step blueprint that top goalkeepers use to reach the highest level, and by the time you finish watching, you won't just know what to do, but you'll have a clear plan to make 2025 your biggest year yet. And most goalkeepers think that if they just train harder, they'll make it. But if that was true, every hard-working goalkeeper would already be a pro. But they're not. So what's the real difference? Well, it starts way before you even step onto the field. And have you ever felt like some players are just built different? Like they were born to be pros, while you're still out there grinding every day and still feeling stuck? It's like you're pushing as hard as you can, but there's something invincible holding you back. And let me tell you, that wall you keep hitting, it's not what you think it is. When I was 15, I used to believe that going pro was all about having insane talent. Like either you had it or you didn't. I'd watch other goalkeepers I trained with and think, wow, they sure got something special that I'll never have. And because I believed that, guess what? I played and trained as if it was true. I had no confidence, I was always second-guessing myself, and every time I made a mistake, it just felt like proof that I'll never be good enough. This wasn't just frustrating, but it was mentally draining. It was as if I had always something to prove, but no matter how hard I worked, I stayed stuck, and at some point I had to ask myself, was the problem really my training, or was it something deeper? Because the truth is, you can work as hard as you want to, but if your mindset is broken, you're already losing. Think of your mindset like planting a seed. If you tell yourself the ground is bad, you won't even bother planting anything, and without that first step, nothing grows. But if you nurture that seed, give it water, sunlight, and attention, it can transform into something incredible. And your belief works exactly the same way. If you keep telling yourself, I'm not good enough, or I'll never make it, you're planting weeds. They don't just stop the flowers from growing, but they choke out everything else. But when you surround yourself with people who push you to be better, feed your mind with positivity, and start saying things like, I can do this, I will make it, and actually back it up with action, you're planting something real. And that's why the first step to becoming a professional goalkeeper is simple. You have to believe it's possible for you, because no one else can do that for you. Not your coaches, not your teammates, not even videos like this one. Sure, I can point you in the right direction, but at the end of the day, you are the one who has to rewrite the story in your own head. And once you believe you can make it, the next step is figuring out how to actually get there. Let's dive into step number 2. Alright, so reprogramming your mindset is a real game changer, but let's also be real. Belief alone won't get you to the pros, and this is where most goalkeepers slip up. They have big dreams. They say things like, this year I'm going to be the best goalkeeper in my team, or even better, I'm going to be a professional. And that's great, don't get me wrong, but dreaming without a plan, that's just wishful thinking. A few years ago, I was training hard, but not really improving. Then, one day, a coach pulled me aside and said, kid, you're training hard, but you're training blind. At first, I was like, what? I didn't even understand what he meant, but then it hit me. Just showing up to training wasn't enough. If I wanted to get better, I needed a real plan, a strategy, not just grinding it out with no direction. And it's the same for you. If you want to improve faster, you have to break your big goals into smaller, actionable steps. Here's how. First, set goals that you can actually track. Instead of saying something vague like, I want to be better at handling, say something like, I will catch 100 balls cleanly every training session. And instead of saying, I want to be more confident in 1v1s, say something like, I will stay 10 minutes after every training every day to work on blocking from different angles. Do you see the difference? One is just a wish, the other is a plan. Second, work backwards? Here's what I mean. Let's say this red cone is you, and your big dream of joining an academy in 6 months is over here. And now you can see there's a gap between you and your dream. So how do you actually reach your dream? It's simple. You break it down. Let's say you need to work on your weak side dives, you need to work on your distribution, and you need to work on your crosses. Now you can see you have 3 stepping stones, but we're not stopping here. What can you actually do to improve those areas? Maybe you could practice your weak side dives for 20 minutes a day. Maybe you can work on some explosivity so you can jump higher and dive further. And for your distribution, maybe it's nailing 10 goal kicks after every practice and work on some squats so you can actually kick the ball longer. And for your crosses, you can talk to your goalkeeping coach to focus more on crosses, or have a friend or partner deliver at least 50 crosses a week so you can get better at catching those high balls. Do you now see how instead of having long, big step over to your dream, you've now broken it down into specific areas? And by doing this, your goal is much more achievable, it's trackable, and even if you don't reach your goals the first time, you can still see that you're still winning because you made massive progress. By breaking your goals into achievable, smaller steps, it keeps you motivated, it keeps you focused, and most importantly, it builds momentum that gives you confidence, so it's a lot easier to actually reach your goals. And finally, track your progress. If you don't measure your progress, how do you actually know that you're getting better, right? So after every session, write down what you worked on, what went well, and what still needs some improvements. This keeps you accountable, helps you spot patterns, and makes sure that you're not training blind. And why not start today? Comment one skill that you're working on this month, and I will reply with a drill or a video that will help you get there faster. Now, let's move on to step number 3. Alright, so you know exactly where you want to go and how to get there, but here's where most goalkeepers get stuck. They write down their goals, maybe even plan out their next few training sessions, and then nothing happens. Why? Because they're still thinking like amateurs. And if you're thinking like an amateur, guess what? You'll stay one. And let me ask you, how often do you show up to training, do the drills your coach sets up, maybe take a few extra shots, and then head home thinking, that's enough? And no, that's not enough, because just enough isn't enough if you're serious about making it pro. You have to do more. That means extra reps, extra sessions and strength training, maybe just something simple as 10 minutes of core work before bed, or stretching out while you're watching TV. These small, simple habits, if you do them every day, will make a massive difference. But training like a pro isn't just about doing drills or working out. It's also about fueling your body with the right food, getting enough sleep, at least 8 hours, and recovering properly after matches and training so you don't burn out. And here's the thing, you don't need to be a pro goalkeeper just to think, train, live and eat and sleep like one. All these small habits that the pros do is something that you can start doing right now. And if you do this long enough and you can actually back it up with your talent, then you will reach your dream of becoming a pro goalkeeper. But watching this video changes nothing unless you take action. So if you're serious about taking your goalkeeping to the next level, then click this video and watch my 5-step system that will help you train smarter, improve faster, and see real results, no matter how busy you are. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in this video.